Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm going to chat with you guys a little bit about Sam Sulek. I'm going to say his name wrong there, and I apologize for that. Normally, I don't really care that much about the bodybuilding world. I'm a master strength athlete, I'm a strength coach. I don't care that much. But I had an enormous number of requests and live streams. People are like, what do you think about this guy? This guy's clearly abusing way too much gear at too young of an age. What do you think he's on? I've had all sorts of questions, and I looked briefly at what he's doing, his training a little bit. I spent about 20 minutes digging through some of the links and stuff I was sent. Here's my thoughts on it. Particularly, I'm going to base some of this on the fact that people have told me his training time is very, very, very low. And I definitely have some thoughts on this. The fact a kid eats tons of junk food, is still very lean while holding tons of water and eating junk food. Which again tells us he is bulked up very, very lean in a very short period of time. Do I think that is dangerous? Because I don't know anything about this kid as a person. I don't know anything about him as a human being. So I'm not going to try to be judgmental towards those things. I want to stick purely with the objective question of, do I think he's using extremely high amounts of gear to the point where it's dangerous to have grown, within just a couple of years to the size he is? And I think the answer there is yes. But, here's the thing, guys. And I'll cover in a minute what I think he uses. Again, a couple decades of experience. How do I word this correctly? Do I think he is probably using very dangerous amounts of gear? Of course. Is he probably abusing extreme amounts and started from day one? Yes. Is this the reason I'm not a fan of modern bodybuilding? This is the reason. Because truth be told, let's be honest here. With how extreme bodybuilding has become today, do the people who want to make it, do they really have a choice in the matter? That's the real question. And I think that you have to have that perspective when you step back and look at it. Yeah, guys, bodybuilding has turned into a freak show. It's turned into a freak show. The amount of just sheer muscle mass that they want these guys to have today is ludicrous. And the fact of the matter is, and I hate to have to say this, the reality, if you're going to go compete in that endeavor, and I recommend that you don't do it, just keep this in mind, I recommend you don't do it. To get where those guys, they need them to be today, should people pay their dues drug-free? No, they really can't afford to. I mean, even you saw that with Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler admitted he was not an adult when he started using gear. He's like, I did my first cycle 2 weeks after I started working out at the gym for the first time. Okay, and look how much bigger they have to be today. And that's what it took then for a guy to place second over and over at the Mr. Olympia. I mean, let's just be honest. If the kid decided, hey, I'm going to go pursue professional bodybuilding, and he really set his heart to do that, he's doing what he has to do to get there. Is it reckless? Is it dangerous? Yeah, I think it is. But there's no way around that. If people want to do that, if they want to compete in that, they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to abuse. And they're going to have to do it sooner rather than later. They don't need to take their time getting up to it. That's what they're going to have to do. And again, this is why it's a problem. And how else do we say this? Someone's going to do it. Somebody is going to go in and get those pro cards in bodybuilding. Someone's going to win. Someone's going to be at the top 10 places at the Mr. Olympia. Who's going to be the ones who make it? Who's going to be the ones who make the cut and get there? The ones who took the risks and they were reckless. Okay? I'm not saying that's a good thing. I am just saying it's the reality. I don't think it's a good thing. It's not. But that's how it works. Those who take those risks are going to be the ones who get there. And we saw Dallas McCarver, perfect example, dead before he reached age 30. Okay, that's the reality of that. You know, the fact that this guy eats pretty much looks like a junk food diet, uses large amounts of gears, he's probably not going to be in it for the long haul. That's reality. You know, that's reality. So, that aside, you know, be objective about it though. I'm not gonna give you guys a lecture or a sermon on that. We've heard enough of that from me already. You guys know my stance there. And I'm not anti-gear, I'm anti-abuse. And I think there's a difference. So what do I think he uses? He does not have a lot of estrogen control. I'm going to call that right now. Okay, so whatever he's doing, he does not have his E2 in a good range. It is very, very elevated. So it's fair to say there's probably a pretty heavy test base. All right. He is extremely bloated. He is carrying a ton of water, ton of acne, looking at the skin, overactive sebaceous glands. His estrogen is way out of range. I'm going to guess prolactin to some extent too. Initial guess as far as androgens, heavy on test, heavy on 19 Nors. 19 Nors, I almost feel like the way he looks, again, androlone-based stuff, that could be DECA, Tren, and BP. 19 Nors are bread and butter for him. If again, educated guess. Okay? The reason he still looks lean while carrying that much water, because the face is bloated, he's got the moon face, acne out of control on the face, is he's just that lean. Okay? He is leaner than people realize. He's just carrying that much water from all he's taking. Now that means there's going to be some fake muscle there. There's going to be some lower quality. But the kid is strong as hell. He's strong. Granted, it was not full reps. It was partials, not touching the chest. But I've flipped over to a clip with him doing rep work with a medium to close grip incline bench, 45-degree incline with 365 for reps. All right, that's strong. That's strong. I don't care who you are, that's strong. Right? That's strong. I haven't seen any of his leg work. I'm going to bet it's pretty comparable to that. But he's lean in spite of all the water. He is carrying an enormous amount of water in booth. I don't think he's heavy on DHTs. Right? I don't think he's on a bunch of primo mass, things like that. I just don't think he's on that. I think he just goes real hard in the test in 19 Nors. My prediction. I think he uses a lot of growth hormone. Now, I don't know whatever insulin and whatever else he runs in the protocol, or IGF-1. That can be hard to pin down. He uses a lot of growth. I suspect that is what's allowed him to bulk up this lean on such a wet stack, blasting as wet as he looks like he's blasting. All the growth hormones allowed him to stay much, much leaner. Looking at just his overall look, again, I think he uses very high doses of HGH. Not that hard to do today. Market's different. It's not that hard to acquire at a decent price in this era. You know, so again, I can't say what else is in the stack, but I'm not seeing a estrogen control, as estrogen is not being controlled particularly well, and that's okay. That'll again increase IGF-1, increase gains. I'm a little worried with his blood pressure. Looking at what I'm seeing, I'm concerned for the kid's blood pressure, red blood cell count, things like that. Those are probably not in a healthy place. Again, looking at color, everything else, he's not in a healthy place with those. But again, I think his staples are test 19 Nors HGH. And I couldn't even begin to guess the doses, but I'm going to guess they're reasonably high on the test and androlone. He could just be a hyper responder though too. You know, growth hormone also obviously impacts the androgen receptor sensitivity and things, particularly when estrogen's elevated. So he may or may not be using as much as we might think on those. Again, higher sensitivity to them anyways. But I think the growth hormone is very high dosed. 8 or more units a day. Again, just guessing at his overall look. Just of what I saw was stuff that he just did within the last couple of weeks. So for people who said, hey, what do you think this guy's using? It's just my predictions. I could be completely wrong. This is just based upon my experience over the decades being around the iron game. And like I said, do I think it's probably reckless? Yeah. Is the kid probably taking risks with his health? Yes. To achieve the goals that he has set out to achieve, is he probably going to have to do that, though? And I think the answer is also yes. And here's my take on it. While I may not agree with that, I may not think it's wise. He's a grown man, and it's his body. You know, it's not my place to tell him what to do with it, other than I will say, I'm seeing at such a young age, I am definitely seeing signs that blood pressure and other stuff are too high. Just an observation. Water retention, blood pressure, everything probably are big concerns. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.